Hello, team. Alright, team, you finally ready to get this dang on game done? 'Cause that's what we're doing. We're getting this dang on game done. Probably got like an hour of it. Maybe 2 if we're lucky. Let's put an end to it. Hang on, I forgot the key lights. Hang on. I'm son of a... Yeah, somebody remind me to get remote-controlled key lights at some point. So I'll have to get up and go around the desk to turn them on. Alright. We're in Braymus Castle. This is the final stretch. We got 2 bosses left. And we have to find a quest item. The hunt continues. Let's go. How many heals do I have left? Full. Excellent. Come, Rogar scum. Ow. That's rude. Come, Rogar scum. You die this day. That's not good. That's very not good. Damn. Oh, that's even less good. What the fuck? There's 2 of them. Okay, at least they're not the upgraded versions. Could have been worse. Oh, there was one just hanging out over here too, huh? Frostbites. Well, the hell's it getting snowy down there? Oh, jeez. Okay, anything umbral down here I need to be aware of? Just the door. Got it. Ah, the royal bedchambers. Perfect. Just where I belong. Oh, all the way up here. Oh, God. Okay. Well, mimic? No. Swaddling cloth. Yeah, it might be the item we're looking for. Cool. Oh, look at the nice painting of the king and queen before he turned into a son of a bitch. A desperate son of a bitch. Mimic? No. Lord Mask. That looks more like the Lordess Mask. that's the grace of a deer. That's not... Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, grace of a deer mask. Oh, very graceful indeed. The eyeballs turned into horns. And they slit from mouth to ear. They pulled a Joker there, huh? Okay. It's cool. It's good. It's good. What's this? Conflagration Seer helmet. I'm Diablo, but not the good Diablo. The Diablo with tits. Diablo 3. It's me. Diablo 3. What else we got? I got Bell. Yep. Okay, this is the one I actually came in to look at. Let's make that 2. That's better, I guess. I actually don't hate it. I don't hate it if you're going for more of a kind of fucked up look. Alright, fair enough. I can't see the lore. I'm too stupid. I'm too inferno dumb. That's fine. We'll go Tankards, because it's even cooler and actually matches the rest of our outfit, which is delightful. Okay, what do I need to do here? Got a couple of things I gotta take care of right here. Let's see. What was it I needed to take care of? There was some way for me to get down there. I don't remember what, though. I can use that to get down there. I don't remember if that was worth it or not, though. Oh, that's how you can get up here from that direction, right? Yeah. This is where I failed to come up at. So there's 2 ways to get up here. I took the dumb way. Twice. Both ways are the dumb way. Is somebody sneaking up behind me? No? Okay. I don't know how to get over there yet. I haven't figured that one out. No. Probably down here. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that would check out. Bronze statues. Very nice. Wait, who killed this guy? I didn't kill him. Who did it? Who's responsible for this? This dead end is just for the Brio Stone? That's kind of disappointing. Oh, I guess that and discovering that somebody killed this guy. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. So who else is in here taking them out? I wonder if there's something umbral. Maybe there's a belly. I don't see anything so far. No, nothing umbral either. Huh. Just a weird dead end with a useless item. Fair enough. This isn't Lies of Pete. No, this is Lies of Stream. Ha! Got him. Oh, that's a lot of, chalupas. Okay, where else did I need to go? I guess this is technically our exit, because we can't go back the other way. I think we're actually done with that tower now, aren't we? Because it was just to roll up the tower, schmoove along here, deal with those threats. Yeah, the tower deposits you out there. I think that was a one-way path. So where else have I missed? There's another way I missed somewhere. So remember there were like 2 or 3 areas I still had to check out. gonna have to Umbral to get out of here. Close. I don't think there was anything else up there. Yeah, because there was an Umbral path somewhere leading out, too. I remember that. So I might go back up there and see what I can find. Alternatively, we're actually done. There was less of this place than I thought. It looked like it was going to keep sprawling. So I panic quit yesterday. But it looks like we may actually just have, like, less than an hour of gameplay left. Whoops. My bad. Scene. Okay, yeah, I think... Well, let me take the cloth to her quick, I guess.
Oh, my poor boy. Truths like heated iron searing shut wounds. I am almost truths.
Ah, my invitation reached you.
She's having a few bad revelations, and she's remembering a couple of things she probably doesn't want to remember. Alright, so that's basically the end of her quest line, I believe. That's the last thing I can do. The quest terminates after we beat the next boss. I guess. Alright, let's see. That might actually be it. That might have just finished everything. Because I can't actually think of anywhere else to go now. Because that one area down below was one of the spots, but turns out you just get to that following the same path I was on. I was assuming the path I was taking was going to lead to more stuff, but it didn't. So, yeah. I'd say we're good. Let's go fight the final boss, baby. Final two bosses. Who knows? Maybe they'll be super difficult and I'll spend the next 3 hours fighting them. Or not. Who knows? Okay, so that path is already explored. We go this way. The seer should still be dead, but I am going to have to kill him quick. Am I? Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to fight him every time I come through here. Not happening. I am going to take my vengeance out on you, though. Nothing personnel, kid. Gee, I wonder if this is the throne room, and that's going to be who we're fighting. Oh no. You're not looking so good, Your Highness. You're not looking good at all. This is what Rogar does to you. This is what a deer does to you. The Sundered Monarch. Okay. Technically, I have an item that's useful here, but... I'm gonna be too stubborn and stupid to use it, just like in Elden Ring, when they did the same mechanic. Hello? We're fighting, right? This is combat? Are we in battle? You a big boy now. Alright, I'll hit you in the tank. Did I just free you? I cut your arm off. Oh, it grew back. Ah. Oh, it grew back bigger. And more dangerous. Yeah, destroy the statue. Free yourself from its control. Don't grovel. Oh, is that your queen? That's the statue of the queen. Wait, do I have to use the... Alright, I'm going to use that item because it just occurred to me I might need to use it for the quest. Now, don't topple the queen statue. That's... Oh, okay, never mind. That's fine. Yeah, break your chains. He's weaponizing love. That's not good. Place looks awesome. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's cozy. Wait, hold on. Hang on. I need you to not do that yet. Hang on. I gotta... that's fine. It's fine. He's chill. Use. Hang on. I gotta put it on my bar here somewhere. Like I said, he's chill. Don't worry about it. Oh, he has a ranged attack. He didn't even let me get up. Bro, I liked you better when you had some chill. Apparently that's supposed to do something, but hell if I know what. Maybe I was supposed to do that before he transformed. Oh, no. He's... It's happening. It stuns him, I guess. Lets you get some damage off on him. Okay. Ow. Oh, spicy. Oh, I can't dodge... Wait, can I not dodge through that? Is that just bad timing? Oh, all of his attacks do that now. That seems bad. Ow. I think I dodged the first part of it, but not the rest of it. Aha! You fool! Ow. Still burns. Still burns. Still burns. I can't stand up. I think I got it. Ugh. The king is dead. I did it. He has hands all over his legs and his cape. He's very handsy. That's the queen. I just killed her husband, who presumably killed her child. Now, if I did the quest right, this should be the end of the quest. Heresy purged. I did it! Wow. Okay. He was attacked by the Rogar after he became a Rogar. He was attacked by them, and then they chained him up to the statue. Okay. Considering I don't see any bodies around here, I'm guessing he wasn't very successful at fending them off. Fair. We got his remembrance. That's neat, I guess. That seemed too easy. He's Rogar, and I have pure holy damage, so... It did take half of my heals, but I don't know. To be fair, I think if you skip her quest line, now if you only complete part of her quest line, there's a condition in which you have to fight a second boss immediately after him. I think it's more like it's kind of like when we fought Andreas of Ebb or the Wayfarer. It's not like a full boss, it's more like a PvP boss. Where they behave more like a player, I think. So, it wouldn't have been any more difficult than this, but it would have, I guess, put more pressure on if I used too many pots during this fight. Then it's possible that fight could have finished me off. But I think the conditions for that are you have to free the tortured prisoner, and then you have to fail her quest. And then you fight her after you fight him. We did her quest, though, because that's more interesting. Yeah, if you fuck up, she's an enemy. If you skip the quest and you don't free her in the first place, she has nothing to do with anything. She's not even in the game at that point, as far as I understand. But if you fuck up her quest, then she becomes the second follow-up boss. And if you succeed on her quest, she doesn't murder you, or try to murder you. You lost most HP for swapping skills. No, I definitely lost more HP during the actual fight. He put me in Umbral for switching my skills, but you know, that's fine. Not a big deal. I was honestly expecting to just restart the fight, but... And we had the perfume, that's right. If you have the perfume, it also makes the boss easier because he sits there stunned for 10 seconds while you wail on his health bar. Like, I cleared, I think, a third of his health bar just during that stun period. Maybe even more than that. I don't think it was quite half, because I did some damage before and then we phased him during. So I think I took out about a third of his health bar just during the perfume stun phase. So, doing her questline properly makes this fight notably easier. And this isn't the final boss, so don't worry about that. We got one more boss to go. The real final boss. So this boss is kind of like Yorm the Giant from Dark Souls 3. It's going to be harder or easier depending on how your questing has been going and what you've accomplished. Well, I guess Yorm's never hard. It's just you want to spend 30 minutes fighting him, or do you want to spend 5 minutes fighting him?
And so my husband finally lies dead. A merciful end after a life long outlived. He is not alone. Oh, promise. Look at what we became. Thank you, friend. As much as it pains me, my past is clear to me once more. Regicide is rarely viewed as a favor, but for both that and your efforts in freeing me from the grip of madness, I, Queen Sophia of Mornstead, would see you rewarded with this token. I have no more rage, no more hatred, and I had my fill of grief and sorrow long, long ago. I cannot undo what I did, but deserved or not, all I want now is to rest.
She gave me her ring. Okay. Well, the upside is... oh god, Jesus Christ, she's dead. Well, never mind, there's no upside. I was gonna say, the upside is, hey, at least the kingdom, well, you know, once we've finished putting the Rogar back in the box, once we've, you know, finished dealing with a deer, at least it'll have a competent ruler. You know, one who's been tempered, and then she turned into a ash and butter and moths. So, I guess we can rule that one out. Damn it. No loot behind the throne? What kind of Dark Souls game is this if there's no loot behind the throne? Feels weird. It was probably a nice throne, you know, back before half of it got destroyed, and, you know, the rest of the Great Hall. That is a high ceiling. This is a great haul. Happy New Year. Sup, Zarium? How you doing? Happy New Year to you. Sup, Sleepyhead? Happy New Year to you as well. Did you get a lightsaber? Oh, I got that a little while ago. I've been using it for about the last quarter of the game, I think. Yeah, about the last quarter of the game. It's Pieta's weapon, so when you defeat Pieta, you can buy it. It's pure radiance, which is good in some areas, is great in some areas, and is terrible in others. So it's a delightfully mixed weapon. But I've basically got a full-blown endgame build at this point, so it does nice stuff. Oh, what the ever? Is that the son? Is that the child? What, oh god. Oh, geez, that's an effigy to a deer, it looks like. Or is that supposed to be a deer? No, it's an effigy. It's made out of wood and metal. Okay. I'm guessing that's the son, and the deal the king made with a deer was to use his son's body as a vessel for the god when he re-entered the world. Fair enough. I'm pretty sure the Rogar ending is kind of similar. You're supposed to find a body for him, or something. I don't know. Alright, I gotta go on roll again to get this memory. I didn't realize there was another one up here, or I would have waited.
Justin, I'm sorry. This was all my fault. I just wanted things to be better for us. Forgive me. No, get that away from...
Ah. There's the official completion for the Drustin quest line. Okay. This is Melchior, Drustin's brother. So who the hell is that then? Is that Melchior? Is this what they did with him? Because that kind of looks like him. Alright, never mind. This isn't the king's son. I don't know who the hell that is. Never mind. My theory just got shot to hell. Alright, hang on. Before we go slamming into the next boss, because it looks like this is going to be a back-to-backer. Let's swing down here real quick. Let's top back up. This is the first one of these I think I've used. The first one that's been useful. Wasn't immediately followed up by a shrine. This is probably... I don't think there's any other zones after this, so... This will likely be our last little shrine. Wow. Alright. Let's go back to Skyrest quick then. Rogar ending, you get your rune enhanced here, then break all the beacon. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Doing great, excellent. Okay. So I wonder where the final boss is for our run then. I got a remembrance for you. Let's chat. Ah, the good king. A melted sword hilt. Yeah, that makes sense. Very few of his subjects saw beneath the stern visage and commanding presence of King Bramus, and fewer still would have guessed how much strength the formidable king drew from the love in his queen's smile and the innocence in his infant son's eyes. All of it, apparently. Alright, so for our trouble we get a statue. Heavy memento, part of a broken stone statue, fashioned into a crude but formidable shield. Yep, okay. So he took the head, we get the rest of it. Oh, wait, no, there's the head. Queen's head hammer. Yep. I do not have enough Inferno. Okay, King Bramus inherited the throne of an already troubled kingdom, but nonetheless did his best to do right by his homeland, his people, and the ones he loved. His efforts eventually cut short by a cruel sickness of the mind. That cruel sickness of the mind was likely brought on by the rune of a deer, which the judge cleric was holding on. Anyway, it's all likely related. Melted crown, a crown once fit for a king, now melted and disfigured, and infernal decree. That's the one where he summoned the swords down. Okay. Fair enough. Lore. Yeah, we couldn't get all of it, though, because, you know, only 5.5% of players complete the Queen's Quest. Whereas 20.8% of players kill the King. So, about a quarter of players who make it through actually do the Queen's Quest correctly, it looks like. Fair enough. Cool. I wonder what the stats are for Byron's quest. I wonder how many people get bamboozled by that one. Can I see that? Nope. I have to have it to see it. Apparently I'm missing a numbral I. Oh, the Red Death one. Yeah. Red Death drops a numbral I, so that's apparently the one I'm missing. Unfortunate that they count that one for the achievement. Okay. Well, let's head back to the throne room and do the old interacty. Actually, we'll upgrade our character first just to spend these points. Oh. Just like 2 XP short. Alright, well that's fine. I got a couple of things we can spend here. $11,000. Do I have enough for one more level up to round that out to 65? I don't think so. Not a shot in hell. Alright, cool. I mean, I could sell a bunch of stuff that I don't need at this point. Just to round it out nicely. Alright, I'm gonna go do that quick. That way all my numbers are nice and rounded to a 5. As it should be.
Ah, you again.
Me again. Ah, the Lord's Bite. Okay. What's this? Sword of the Flayed. Flayed human skin. Ah, excellent. That's fun. Lord Axe. An axe fit for a Rogar Lord. Okay, so you get all the Rogar themed stuff here in the castle right at the end of the game. I can't get any of the lore for it, so it doesn't matter. Nice of them to give me the little meter so I can see exactly how much I have to sell. on to that. It's like a catch-all here, so it's probably worth keeping. Oh, there we go. Perfect. One more level up, then we go fight the boss. Boom. The 3 main stats are rounded off. Alright, we're going to, I guess, back to my seedling. I'm not sure where else to go from here, so we're going to have to interact with that thing in the back of the room, I guess. So, for breaking the beacons, do you actually get any new bosses to fight, or are you legitimately just running back to areas you've already been and just running up to the beacon and that's it? Just backtracking? Okay, yeah. Adir the bereft exile.
I look upon you with pity, my lost child.
That's him.
For you have been deceived and enslaved by forces who regard you as nothing more than an instrument
Kind of like you?
through which they might enact their blasphemous will and prevent my rightful return. They speak of light while offering you nothing but blindness.
No, I got buffs, bro.
Weak hypocrites relying on the malignant power of Umbral. With one breath, then decrying it with another.
So, you don't like the Umbral, because the Umbral scares you, doesn't it?
They brand me evil, a tyrant, and yet I offer you something they will not. A choice. Reject the fanatical crusaders and the deranged servants of the self-proclaimed judge. Dismiss all of their false dogma and the torturous mission to which they have bound you. And only then will you know freedom. And if you would hear it, the truth.
The truth. It's kind of odd they pose it like this, like I have a choice. I don't have a choice. I'm locked into an ending. There's nothing I can do at this point. So... He's gonna... So the idea is that, hey, no, I wasn't that bad. I was an alright god. You know, what's a little sacrifice, bloodshed, murder, mutation, pain, agony? There's a little bit of that. At least I was honest about it. Look at all these hypocrites not being honest about it. But I feel like it's, I feel like there's a matter of degrees here. Yeah, sure, they're just like a lesser version of you in the end. But a lesser version of you is a hell of a lot better than the full version of you. You know? Because, yeah, I've seen the Rogar in action. Twice, in 2 games. You know. I see what they're all about, what kind of fun stuff they do. And are into, and, no, I think you're good there, buddy. I'm going into the Rogar realm. Look at how the world looks. Yeah, that's not exactly my style. I don't like it that hot. It's a little too toasty for me anyway. Hey, I was wondering if we'd ever go into the Rogar realm. We did in the first game. This looks very different from when I went in the first game. Well, maybe not very different. It's a little different. Who the hell are you? A deer? Hey, but you're not looking so great, buddy. You're, Oh, there's a deer. The worst part is the hypocrisy. Yeah, but I'd rather have the hypocrisy and a deer light significantly. Like, we're talking like 5% of a deer. I'd rather have the hypocrisy at that point, you know? Like, yeah, sure. You guys still suck, but like, we're talking a matter of degrees here. We're talking like a nice, comfy, like 60 degrees versus like a searing, burning 250 degrees, you know? Or 500 degree, whatever temperature searing starts. I don't know. I just cook. I don't know anything about it. A deer the bereft exile. What? Hello? Hi. Holy God, you're big. I'm just gonna go over here and hide for a second. Alright, so this is, what is this? Is this gonna be a puzzle boss then? This ain't a legit boss fight. This is an environmental boss fight?
To open your eyes to their manipulations. To millennia of shameful distortions of
How you doing, buddy? You okay, fella?
Eons, I stood as mankind's guardian.
You've been standing here growing that hair for a while, haven't you?
With wisdom and love. Yet in return, I was betrayed. Those three power-hungry malefactors who declared themselves judges turned my own children against me and waged a terrible war of needless slaughter.
Well, they probably wouldn't have been able to do that if you hadn't given them a good reason to, you know, like all the torture and death.
The judges and
all
their
that.
crazed followers butchered those who remained loyal to me. And when I created the Rogar as a means to put an end to the madness, they too were no match for the healing forces. In the end, even I fell. Although the judges found themselves unable to kill a god, despite their best efforts.
Ow, that burns a little. Oh, what the hell?
And corpse choked by their crusade, the judges banished me to this
I hear a beating heart.
realm, which has served
Beating hearts are probably
as
not
my
great.
prison
Ow.
ever since. Meanwhile, mankind set about ruling themselves, free from the divine oppression of which they accused me. And yet, how little time passed before the judges themselves were raised. To the
Oh, yeah,
status
you were the
of
ones I gotta find.
demigods. Figures of worship, their real ambition all too clear. Yet an outcome, the people deluded themselves into believing a triumph. How much blood has been spilled in their names since my banishment? Far more than was ever spilled in my name.
I don't know if I believe that, but maybe.
And now, after all the time mankind have had to shape their own destiny, see what they have made of it. War, greed, hatred, suffering, chaos. They believed they were capable of guiding themselves, but have been proven sorely mistaken.
I gotta find all the ones with the
Mankind
jeez, with the
needs
mark.
me now more than ever.
So that guy's the next one. Oh, this guy's 2. Why is the Umbral parasites here? That's the big question.
Godhood, where are they? What of Aureus and the abhorrent umbral creature? They are cowards, hiding in forcelight and obfuscated shadow, deeming you unworthy of their presence, their communion. And yet, here I stand before you with true words and open arms. For I love all of my children.
This sounds like hardline propaganda to me, Chief. I'm gonna level with you. There may be some nuggets of truth in there, but the way it's being delivered just sounds like hardline propaganda.
Listen to me.
I live in the real world, bro. I'm familiar with propaganda. I know exactly what it looks and sounds like.
Damn all of mankind for eternity. I am not your
These
enemy.
puddles suck.
Only what my own enemies fear. The loss of the dominion they have established for themselves in my absence.
So just
Cease your
like you
misguided
then?
Violence.
So they're exactly the same as you.
presence of a god-human. Your god. I formed you from nothing and can just as easily destroy you. Yet you would dare
See, now he's getting violent about it. Now the true color, the propaganda didn't work. Now the true colors come out.
to exist in my world,
Fuck.
my home, and
I switched off of my heal, apparently.
my own creation exiled me from it. You have no idea what it is to suffer such a monstrous betrayal, or to endure the ages of torment which follow.
I'm gonna need more fire resistance to win this fight. It's just so much fire damage.
The insistent hubris of humanity.
Hey, Silver, what's good? This isn't the actual boss because it looks like it sucks. It's not great so far. I'm assuming this is like a phase 1 scenario. I mean, it's a cool set piece, but the actual fight, it's basically... The fight itself so far is basically Deacons of the Deep, which is an atrocious boss fight from, what was that, Dark Souls 3, I believe? Yeah, that was Dark Souls 3. An atrocious boss fight, and that's basically all this one is, with him monologuing in the background. Monologue's probably fine, it's whatever. The set piece is cool and everything, but I need more fire resistance or we're not going to get through this. Increase fire defense and wither defense. That'll help. That's a start. Right now I don't need stamina, until proven otherwise. A ring once worn by Queen Sophia of Mornstead, the Sanguinarix restores mana as well as health. It's a good caster item, but nothing for me. Not for me. I need... They're doing Ignite, not Burn, right? Yeah, they're doing Ignite. Yeah, they're doing both, I guess. Damn. I feel like Burn's the bigger issue. Put a Burn Resist ring on. Alright, what else can I swap? I do not have... Is this the one that gives me Fire Resist? Yeah, Fire Defense, so I've already got the right amulet on there. Alright, let's see if these 2 rings is enough. I got the Fire Ward. I can take the Perfume off now. Purifying Ball, I can put these on. Heavenly Vials. Yeah, okay. Let's try it again. So... Trying to think. I know I'm pretty sure the Umbral ending gets a real final boss. I don't know about the Rogar ending. I don't know if they get a real final boss or not. But this is the Radiant ending final boss. Or at least phase 1 of it. We'll see if we actually end up fighting him or anything else. Alright, we gotta look for the ones with the mark. I believe the first one was over here. No mark, but I might as well take that out ahead of time so it doesn't become a problem later. Where's the first one? Well, slightly randomized. Okay. First one's here.
To open your eyes to their manipulations, to millennia of shameful distortions of the truth. For eons, I stood as mankind's guardian, shepherding them with wisdom and love.
I see him over there.
Yet in return, I was betrayed. Those 3 power-hungry malefactors who declared themselves judges turned my own children against me.
That fire field they leave under their feet is the big problem here, honestly.
Slaughter
it wasn't for that, this wouldn't be quite as bad.
The judges and their crazed followers butchered those who remained loyal to me. And when I created the Rogar,
Damn it.
as a means to put an end to the madness,
Fire Ward.
they too were no match for the heathen forces. In the end, even I fell. Although the judges found themselves unable to kill a god, despite their best efforts.
Take these out now while they're not a problem. Because any one of these could eventually become
In a
one of our
world
targets.
blackened and corpse choked by their crusade,
Case in point, there we go.
banished me to this barren realm, which has served as my prison ever since. Meanwhile, mankind set about ruling themselves.
Okay, the fire resist is helping a bit so
Divine
far.
oppression of which they accused me. And yet, how little time passed before the judges themselves were raised to the status of demigods. Figures of worship, their real ambition all too clear. Yet an outcome, the people deluded themselves into believing a triumph. How much blood has been spilled in their names since my banishment? Far more than was ever spilled in my name.
Wall!
And now, after all the time mankind have had to shape their own destiny, see what they have made of it. War, greed, hatred, suffering, chaos. They believed they were capable of guiding themselves, but have been proven sorely mistaken.
Oh, come on! I side dodged into the puddle while trying to avoid that last fireball. Damn it.
And what of other beings who claim godhood? Where are they? What of Aureus and the abhorrent umbral creature?
Well, Aureus is here because his light is giving everyone power, including myself.
Deeming you unworthy of their presence, their communion.
This is a terrible fight to be melee in. Like, this is a terrible melee fight.
And open arms. For I love all of my children, even the wayward ones. Listen to me. You must stop this before you allow yourself to condemn all of mankind for eternity. I
Almost,
am not
almost.
your
Getting
enemy,
close, getting close.
Only what my own enemies fear. The loss of the dominion they have established for themselves in my absence. Cease your misguided violence.
Two more, I think. Two more, two more, two more. Two more. Homing fireballs. I repeat, we have homing
Are
fireballs.
in the presence of a god human. Your god. I fooled you.
I hear your heart beating faster and faster. Like you're scared, buddy. Like you're a little spooked. Oh, is that it? Did I get them all? Now what? You're not looking so
look
good.
upon you with pity, my lost child. For you have been deceived and enslaved.
Yeah.
by forces
Fight's
who
over.
regard you as nothing
Phase
more than
or
an
something.
instrument
Anything.
through which they might enact their blasphemous will and prevent my rightful return.
What, am I supposed to stand in the middle now? Wait, do I hello? Oh, there we go. He just had to finish talking. I have a bad feeling that was the final boss. Which would explain why everyone says Radiant has the worst ending. Narratively speaking, I don't think it has the worst ending. Combat speaking, I think it does. Yeah. That was it. The light of the Umber lamp knows no satiation, consuming even a god. So why didn't they just use the Umber lamp to eat a deer back with Aureus' will done by his heresy-tainted champion rewarded only with annihilation? Ah, I was awarded with annihilation. With renewed influence, Aureus unleashed his radiance to purify those deemed transgressors. In light, so anyone who was corrupted by the Rogar, Aureus purified. In light, they fall. Yep. So, I think narratively speaking, this ending is pretty decent. But yeah, as far as like a final boss fight goes, that was probably the worst boss fight in the entire game. It was basically a set piece with some lore. Just a lot of lore slammed at you. So I'm guessing Umbral probably has the best ending as far as, like, combat goes, because I know there's a legit boss there. At least I think it's a legit boss. I don't know... Is the Rogar final boss just the Sundered King? Has anyone finished the Rogar ending? I feel like the least they could have done if they wanted this to be the... I mean, I guess it's no more disappointing than the final... second to final boss, I guess. In Dark Souls 2, but... It is, yes. Okay, the Sundered King is the final boss for... So the Sundered King is technically the final boss for 2 of the runs. Like, the Adir fight was not a boss fight, that was a lore dump. Which I'm fine with, it wasn't a big deal, at least it was an interactive lore dump. But Adir was not the final boss. The Sundered King is the final boss. I kind of wish they had made the Sundered King a little more interesting. It wasn't a bad fight, but it wasn't a good final boss. Like, if that had just been, like, the boss before the final boss, or just, like, the Bramus Castle boss, and then you go to this other area to finish off the... The Sundered King was fine as a boss in general, but not as a final boss. So I guess the Umbral ending is the most satisfying ending from that perspective. What's the name of it? Larian or something? Larian the Starved or whatever? So, I would not be against the Sundered Monarch, or Sundered King, or whatever his name was. I would not be against him having a slight rework to make him more interesting as a final boss. Umbral ending as a real final boss. Got it. See, I would assume the ending you're most likely to accidentally get on a blind playthrough would be the one with the real final boss. The Radiant ending. Whereas the other 2 endings would have the more gimmicky end, because you've already probably gone through and done your Radiant playthrough. Because there's no way you're blindly getting an Umbral ending. I don't even think it's possible to blindly get Umbral. I could see blindly getting the Rogar ending is probably not that bad. You don't cleanse the beacons, and as far as I'm aware, that's the main thing. That and making sure you get the rune, but I think that's a given anyway. So, Radiant and Umbral are the 2 you're most likely going to get a legit ending on your first time through. So, having like the cheesy, weird kind of lore ending would have been better as like an Umbral ending, since that's the one you'd probably be doing on a second playthrough. I kind of feel like they did that backwards.
The dungeon awaits.
Hey, Dark Orion, how you doing? Appreciate the resub. Now, you know what? We're not technically out of the... Everything's still more or less going, so let's throw another one of these in the hat. A couple more days left. There we go. Wonder if there's anything at the end of the cutscenes. We'll let it go. So it took exactly an hour to finish getting through the... I should have just finished it last night. I should have just finished it last night. So where the hell did oh, the 6th beacon was the effigy, right? It was a fake beacon. Monarch audio. Wow. Did they design the Monarch fight? If they did, it makes sense because they're audio people. So, yeah. Did NetEase Interactive did one thing? It was the lighting director, that's it? They just did the lighting. Considering the lighting was kind of bad in this game, that makes sense, yeah. If you want bad lighting, go to NetEase. That's what I've learned about this game. I mean, it wasn't awful lighting, but it wasn't great lighting. There were a lot of areas where the lighting was just super funky. Back from vacation, you wish the weather was better. You do not miss the cold temps. Oh, see, I love the cold. We got a couple of cool days recently, and today's kind of cool too, so I'm happy. Testronic. I'm trying to think. What was the... What was the final boss of Dark Souls 3? There was the Ember dude, but wasn't there a boss after him too? The Lord of Cinders, or whatever the hell his name was. Wasn't there a boss after him as well? Frame's taking a shit? Yeah. There's a hiccup in the connection. It's probably fine. Looks like it's evening out now. It was hitting both YouTube and Twitch, so it was most likely my ISP. You're feeling cold temps more in your advanced state. That's fair, I guess, yeah. Be rough on the joints. He was the final boss. Why do I feel like I fought a boss after the Lord of Cinder? Maybe it was a DLC boss. I probably went and... Yeah, it was probably DLC. Okay. Dark Souls 2's final boss was the King, who was kind of a weird, derpy gimmick fight as well. And then the Queen, who, honestly, it was literally a tank and spank. So that was... Dark Souls 2 didn't have a great final boss either. Dark Souls 3's final boss was fine. Lord of Cinder was alright. No major complaints about it. He was a little easier than some of his immediate predecessors, though, so he wasn't the hardest boss in the game. He was, you know, the Nameless King was significantly harder, although that was technically an optional challenge boss. I feel like the couple of bosses right before the Lord of Cinder were harder than the Lord of Cinder was. But he was still an interesting mechanical fight, so he had that going for him. You unlocked a new class, Radiant Purifier. Wow, they look dumb. I just did a Radiant playthrough. Why would I want to be Radiant again? You know? Oh god, they start with a halberd too? That's like the worst weapon class in the game. Oh my god. It's terrible. A martial priest of the Church of Orient Radiance whose rigorous training in matters both spiritual and somatic serves them in unflinchingly cleansing anything deemed anathema to the Church and Aureus. An offense-focused class, vulnerable to physical harm but with a greater tolerance for magical damage. Well, none of that matters because none of that is inherent to the class. That's just their starting armor. The second you swap their starting armor off, none of that's, like, as soon as you get new armor... You know? Rely on vestige seeds sounds awful. The seedling system was not well designed. I think Serapho was right the other day when he said they should have just made the seeds infinite, and that way you could just... That would have been a far more compelling system. The seeds are infinite, you can use them however the hell you want, you're not worried about running out or anything, and then you can just... Do I want to keep it here? Like, there's a lot more decision-making at that point. Have a couple of main vestiges that you can quickly travel to get to the main areas. Like, one in each area at least. Whatever. And then, from there, you can rely on the vestige seeds to just plop them down wherever you want them. It's like, okay, do I keep this one here, which has good access to that area, but my run over here, if I die, is going to be a little bit longer, or do I move that seedling here while I'm exploring this area, which will make it a little quicker, but then it's going to be harder to get back to this area for when it's time to continue. Like, that would have been, there would have been decisions to make there. As the seedling system being such a limited system in the amount you get, sure, you can buy more, but you gotta farm for that. Who the fuck wants to farm for them? They're overpriced, too. They're $1,200 per. That's a lot of enemy kills for most of the game. Until you get to the point where you can farm that one dude worth $750 over and over again. And that still sounds like suffering. I know it's suffering because I did it to farm upgrade materials. It was terrible. Did you just finish? Yeah, we just finished. People like to think of Nightgale fight from DLC as the final series boss, but you can find him anytime. I actually haven't even fought him. I never did the Ringed City. I did the other DLCs. I never had the Ringed City. So I'm probably thinking of Ariandel, or whatever the hell her name was. The stupid, like, 4-phase boss fight. The one where they try and debate you, like, hey, here's some loot, it's over, and then she just gets back up and insta-splodes you because you're not ready for it. I'm probably thinking that is the final fight. Because I technically did that after the Lord of Cinders, so... I hated that fight. I thought it was a terrible fight. It wasted so much time. I feel like that's one of those fights where after you complete Phase 1... Phase 1 just shouldn't exist anymore. The whole phase is just a gimmick, and once you figure out the gimmick, you basically... Like, you're at the mercy of it being inherently slow. Which makes follow-up and trying to learn the later stages of the fight absolutely miserable, because it takes forever to get back to it, and then, you might end up dead right away because you're still learning it, and you don't know what's going on, and you... There are some fights in Souls games, and Souls-likes, that should have certain phases stripped away after you've completed those phases. The invisible phase of the... What the hell was her name? I don't think it was Ariandel. What was her name? Frida. Ariandel was the name of the place. Frida. Once you complete Frida's Phase 1, the Phase 1 should just stop being a thing. What's another good example? Can I think of any off the top of my head? There are actually some examples in this game, but I can't, I have the memory of a goldfish, so I can't think of them off the top of my head. Ooh, another good example. The, Ivory Crown DLC for Dark Souls, what is that, Dark Souls 2? Yeah. The first phase, going for the boss in the snow place, where you re-kill his soldiers. That is such a gruelingly frustrating Phase 1. That's not fun, takes too long, and it's just, quite honestly, a buzzkill. The first time you get through that phase, it should just stop existing, and you just immediately go into fighting the boss. Rather than having to clear those stupid fucking night portals every time. Dark Souls 3 is in general, boss gets back up the game, you think? Yeah, that was pretty common, yeah. Let's see. I played Elden Ring more recently. Were there any Elden Ring bosses that could afford a phase being cut out after you finish it? I'd say almost Malekith, maybe, but to be completely honest, his first phase is so quick, it doesn't really matter that much, and it can be a threat. It's not usually a threat, but it can. The potential is there that you could take a walloping during that phase and burn through a bunch of resources, so that's probably, that's a first phase, it's fine. The first phase isn't long, it isn't grueling, it's not that bad. Let's see, what other bosses were there? Oh no, I wish I had a better memory. A good example, as much as I absolutely love Sword Saint Ishin at the end of Sekiro, as much as I absolutely love that fight, I think the Sword Saint fight is the best Souls fight I've ever done, period, bar none. Having to fight, what was his name, Ganishiro or whatever, before you fight Sword Saint Ishin every single goddamn time got so annoying. Like, bro, I've killed this guy 4 times already, now I have to kill him every time I want to fight Sword Saint? Come on now. There's a good example of where you beat him the first time. He should have just been like a little pre-boss. You fight him once, you're done. He's done. He's out of here. Now let me at the meat and potatoes. Let me at what I'm here for. Let me fight the Sword Saint. That's a fantastic example, because that fight, if you didn't have to keep re-killing Genichiro or whatever his name was, that fight would have actually been even better. It was already amazing, but it could have been better. Let me fucking eat. Yeah. Get these appetizers out of my way. I want the main course, baby. Stop wasting my time. That sounds like probably the best example I could get, because that Genichiro should not have been there every time. Oh, the Moon Sorceress in the school. Yeah, the first phase of the Moon Sorceress. Once you beat that the first time, that should have been over. That should have been done. What was her name? I can't actually remember her name. She was such an uninteresting boss. To be fair, her second phase was kind of stupid, too. It wasn't even... like, if you take the first phase off the boss fight isn't even really a boss fight anymore. It's just dumb. It's right there. Oh, Renalia. Yeah, Renalia. Yeah. I didn't read down that far. I saw the Sin rant, people rant, and that's where my eyes stopped. Oh, did you say it? Oh, Renalia. See, I didn't even see that. I just saw Moon Sorceress up above. Hey, well, I skim. I read Moon Sorceress and In the School, because In the School was a continuation of the Moon Sorceress statement, so I skipped what was in the middle. Alright, fine, Renalia. Either way, the boss was so uninteresting, I didn't even remember her name. But yeah, if you take phase 1 off of that fight, you might as well take phase 2 out too, because phase 2 is just as stupid. It's just a dumb boss. It was a terrible boss. I guess at least the set piece for phase 2 was cool, I guess. Anyway, I don't even remember what started this rant. I'm gonna level with you. I have no idea. I don't know what we were talking about. Oh, right, the seedlings. Somehow the seedlings turned into that conversation. Amazing. Anyway, what a tangent. I think the seedling system could have been way better. It could have been a big decision-making point throughout the game. That would have been cool. Instead, it was just, do I have a seed? Does it seem like something important is going to happen over there? Alright, I guess I'll plant one here. You liked Renalia, but the first phase should have been only once? Eh, alright, fair enough. Love the dulcet tones of throat singing as background to Joe's rant. Oh, God. Did I get, like, a remembrance or anything from that? Apparently, I missed a vestige or something somewhere, because I didn't get all the vestiges. The achievement for that. I guess I missed one somewhere. I also missed 4 quintessences. 3 quintessences? 3 or 4? I have no idea where those would even be. I was very thorough about exploring everything. Painstakingly so, as you guys have watched over the last couple of weeks. Every nook and cranny, I checked them, so I have no idea where I missed those at. Alright, let me at least start it. Restart game 0. Oh, you can restart game... Wait. Trophy hunters and questline complete. Oh, okay, so this is for people who want to do New Game Plus but don't want to deal with the bullshit. So, as far as I'm aware, 2 major things change in New Game Plus. Well, 3. The standard New Game Plus thing where stuff gets more health and more damage. Okay. But aside from that, the stuff you would expect, there's what they're warning you about here. Vestige seedlings, they start reducing the number of the shrines, basically, throughout the game. I guess by the time you hit New Game Plus 3 or something, there's only 2 left in the entire game. One's probably Skyrest. I don't know where the hell the other one would be, but... And, the other change that they don't mention here is that mob density goes back up. You know, the thing that people hated so much, they actually had to nerf it for your first playthrough? Because the mob density was so atrociously frustrating. Yeah, that's back when you go New Game Plus, which is probably why you don't see a lot of people New Game Plusing this game. A lot of people seem to do a one and done. Makes sense. Mob density was already about at what I would call the limit for good gameplay there. God help you if you were in the Umbral. Because that could get frustratingly dense with enemies at times. Especially in tight corridors and spaces. It was terrible. Apparently it gets worse as you go up in New Game. Absolutely atrocious. Yeah, they want you to use the seedlings, which means you're going to have to do a lot of farming sessions. Because seedlings are 1,200 a pop. They're infinite, so you can buy as many as you want, but they are 1,200 cash a pop. Or you can try and farm them in the Umbral, as Umbral elite enemies like the Moths and the Deaths have a small chance of dropping them. I'd say it's roughly around 10-15% chance of dropping them. So you could farm some as well. And I think you can only hold a maximum of, what, 5? So it's like, oh god, this system blows the way it's implemented. So this game is great for a first run. And absolutely atrocious for a New Game Plus. There are people who play such games without them. Well, yeah, but those are usually challenge runs and speed runs. Those are usually people who are skipping the bulk of the game and just doing the absolutely mandatory stuff and essentially just booking it through the game. Which is fine. That's certainly a way to play it after you've, like, legit cleared it a couple of times and you're tired of, you know, all that jazz. You find new challenges, you find new ways to do things. That's fine, but that's not what most players are. The vast majority of players don't fall into that category. But you can tell, and it's pretty easy, all you have to do is look at Steam charts to tell how many people are doing New Game Pluses. And considering how quickly the player base fell off on this, nobody was New Game Plusing. You can actually see it in the player trends. Like, you can see it for Elden Ring, how long people were New Game Plusing in Elden Ring, Dark Souls, like, you can see it in all of them. It's kind of funny. And this game did not have a lot of people continuing on. I'm sure there were a few people who were doing plus zeros just for the different endings and whatnot. I'm sure that's happening, or happened, but I just don't think there's a whole lot of people pushing New Game Pluses. Alright. I accidentally filled it out. Oh well. I was going to do +1 just to see how bad the health and damage scaling was. How about the very final boss of Elden? Oh yeah, that's another good example. Although that boss was
the latest receiver of his grace.
Yeah, shut up. That one was the opposite problem. The final boss of Elden Ring is one where the second phase should have been cut. The Divine Beast was absolutely awful. Wow, 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 it's me. It's Granny Ethel, back where it all began. Alright, I'm curious to see what their health... Oh, this is new game, so nothing's scaled. That's right, because I'm on new game 0. So everything's going to be just as weak as ever. Let me go smack him, see. Yep. Yeah, that checks out. Alright, well... Crap, that only ended up taking an hour and a half. Melina, Goddess of... Oh, no, well... Ugh. My issues with, Melina or Melania or Malaria, whatever the hell her name was. My issue with her was that her mechanics just weren't well designed for Souls. Which is something From Software have been doing with their more recent games. They've been designing challenge bosses that don't actually fit the framework of the game very well. The Demon of Anger? Demon of Anger? Was that it? Whatever it is, in Sekiro, that was a Dark Souls boss in Sekiro, which did not fit the framework of the game, and the boss was absolutely miserable to fight. Melania! Melanoma, whatever the hell her name was. They all have the same name, just slightly different vowels. Naming conventions in Elden Ring were kind of shit. But, Melissa, her healing mechanic in the Souls, not unheard of necessarily. Like, PvP boss fights, usually the enemy, or like invasions, spirit invasions, they can usually use a heal or whatever. But it's different, because they have to actually stop and use the heal, and you can usually punish it a little, and, you know, it's better designed for the actual gameplay. Melania's just, I hit you once and I'm full health. Fuck you mechanic was so dumb. Especially in actually, it was honestly Waterfowl Dance that ended up being the worst of it. The healing without Waterfowl Dance probably wasn't that bad. But Waterfowl Dance basically just being a full heal if you can't do the perfect dodge. Or, let's completely ignore the fact that the boss was so poorly designed, if you were a mage or a bow build, you could basically get a free kill on her. Because she was so poorly designed for punishing ranged players. As I demonstrated by getting through her phase 1 with ranged weapons and not taking a single hit. Because she couldn't hit me. At all. While I was at range. And phase 2, if you're a strong enough sorcerer, you can one-phase her before she gets out of her stupid flower dive. You can just straight up kill her before she's a threat in phase 2. I don't know if bows can pull that one off or not. I imagine if you're like a full-blown bow build, you can probably do it, but I couldn't test that because I wasn't a full-blown bow build. How blatant was this ad? Well, they're about as blatant as they always are. That's a bot, don't worry about it. It wasn't a real person. Just some asshole who set up a little bot farm. You kill Melania on New Game Plus 2, you could take exactly one hit of anything. Waterfall was okay on no scaling, you could tank several hits. No, it wasn't the hits. It wasn't the fact that... It wasn't the damage of Waterfowl. It was the fact that Waterfowl basically full healed her. Which basically reset the fight. That was the issue. The only problem with the Melania fight was the healing. If it wasn't for the healing, the fight would have been probably great. Because Waterfowl was something that, okay, if you can't learn how to perfectly deal with it, you're going to take some punishment. It's going to cost you some resources. Not a big deal. You can still work your way around it. The fact that it full healed her as well means you couldn't, like, slowly chisel your way through the fight. Like you normally would for a Dark Souls boss. So you either had to do it flawlessly or find some way of dealing with Waterfowl. One way of dealing with Waterfowl is there's a couple of summons you can use that are very powerful and can, like, I think it's Olga. Was it Olga? Olga could basically stun lock Melania through phase 1. Olga, the spirit summon, had so much poise break that you could legitimately just stun lock her in phase 1 with that spirit summon. So that's one way people were beating Malenia. If you didn't want to feel like you were completely breaking the game, you could do the slime approach, which is the way I did it. I used the slime summon, which basically just copies you. And then the slime is an idiot and sometimes attacks the wall and stuff, but, you know, with the right equipment on, the slime could be an asset, like the frost grenades, which could help. I think it was frost grenades, right? So if you were lucky, the slime would throw a frost grenade as she was prepping a waterfowl, and that would help and everything. So the slime was useful. I think it still took me a couple of tries with the slime, though, because the damn thing was an idiot and would sometimes feed waterfowl. But anyway. Let Me Solar is the most powerful summon. Yeah, true, that one as well. And a lot of people got through Malenia by Let Me Solar. A player so hell-bent on mastering the game that he was like, fuck this, I'm dedicating myself to learning how to beat this fight. What was the other? There were a couple of other cheeses for the Malenia fight, other than being a mage, other than Olga, and other than the slime. The slime was probably the least cheesy of the three because, like I said, there was still a lot of room for error. And if you were really unlucky, the slime would just completely full healer through waterfowl. So you had to be more on the ball with your frost grenades to prevent her from doing that. So you at least had to put some effort into the fight still. And in Phase 2, you were still on your own, as the slime did not typically survive into Phase 2. So you still had to go through Phase 2 on your own. I can't think of any. I think there was another cheese, but I can't remember what it was. I think there was one more. What was it? I can't remember. But anyway. Did you play Remnant 2, Joe? Not yet. We're going to start that on co-op Saturdays, starting this Saturday, actually. So it'll be coming up soon. And tomorrow I'll be starting Lies of P as well. I don't know what we're going to do for the rest of this evening. We got a couple hours left. You defeated her with Tyr, Seppuku, and Singlaive. Tyr. What was Tyr again? Or is Tear the spell? Oh no, the war ability, the weapon ability, Tear. Right. Yeah, like, there were a number of ways to kind of cheese through the fight using the tools they gave you. Or cheese isn't probably not the right word. The only one that's actually cheese is probably Maging and Olga, because they actually just break the boss fight. But the other methods are probably less cheese and more just using the tools at your disposal. But, you know, the purists of the Soul series are like, if you didn't do it with just the sweat on your own brow and nothing else, you cheesed it, you son of a bitch. I don't care if the devs put these mechanics in. I don't care if the devs made magic a thing. If you did, you know... Oh, you used grenades. You cheesed it then. But those people are... They're very special. They have a special place in our hearts. Death Must Die. You know what? Maybe that's what we'll do. Fire Giant was awful in every phase. Oh, Fire Giant. Yeah, Fire Giant in Elden Ring 2. I almost completely forgot about Fire Giant. Well, the problem with Fire Giant is he was a large boss, but unlike most large bosses, he had wide area attacks as well. So, you couldn't see what the hell was happening, and half the time he was just annihilating the entire countryside. Trogdor style. So yeah, Fire Giant was pretty bad as well. And it was split into two phases, and the first, you know, I think the first phase was probably fine. The second phase was the annoying one there. But I guess maybe if it was just the second phase, it wouldn't have been as bad. And where the dev scammed the player base? I don't think so. Not that I've heard. Maybe? The day before. Yeah, maybe the day before is what you're thinking of. I don't know if that technically qualifies as a scam, but close enough, I guess. kind of hard to call it a scam when, you know, when the game, they refunded everyone when they announced that the game was being shut down. You know, when you're not really out any financial, it's not really a scam. It's not like they went to Bali with it, like got rich and are sitting on a beach somewhere sipping, you know, Mai Tais or mojitos or whatever. Like, their business is dead. None of them have jobs anymore. They're dealing with bankruptcy, finance, and all that. I wouldn't really call it a scam. It was just an unfortunate set of decisions that resulted in nobody having a good time. But, you know, wherever you want to draw the line on that. It was a failed scam. Well, that's the thing. They didn't ask for pre-orders. I don't even think you could pre-order the game. You didn't buy your way into the betas, like... And people were already wary, so anyone who bought into the game at the point it came out, you get what you pay for. And they slapped the early access title on it to cover their own asses. Like, there was no scam there. If you lost money on that, you were a fucking idiot and you deserve to lose your money. All the warning signs were there that something was wrong. Or wasn't going to be quite what you expected. Like I said, I don't think the game was that bad. It was definitely in a state where it could have... Through a normal one-year early access period, I think the game probably would have been fine. But nobody wanted to give them the chance, so... But all the same, it was an early access title that actually had early access. You had to... The early access box is over the purchase box. You cannot purchase the game without scrolling past it. And there was already a bunch of people like, it's kind of fishy. And that was a big... Like, every content creator in the universe was covering how shady the game was. Or they thought the game was. There's no way you got blindsided by this shit. If you bought into it, you knew the risks. I wouldn't even classify it as a failed scam. It was just a dev team biting off more than they could realistically chew. How about a bit of Salt and Summoner's Rift? Thankfully, I don't play MOBAs. You can't expect personal responsibility from people on the internet, Joe. That's fair. I can, but I'm going to be disappointed every time. Ranting for 40 minutes now. Yeah. Well, you know, I got nothing else to do. When I have nothing else to do, I just default to ranting. It's just my personal... It's how my brain works. I just run in circles and rant. Alright, you know what? We'll play some Death Must Die. We'll do that, because I've been meaning to play that, so... Marketing department building expectations that the dev team couldn't meet. Yeah, that could be part of it. I think part of it was also player expectation. It was kind of like with Cyberpunk. How player expectation was so severely overblown because of the hype around the game. And the irony is, the game wasn't even hyping itself. The player base started hyping it. And then it became the most wishlisted game on Steam. They didn't advertise that, I don't think. I believe that was... Was that the... If they did, that's where they fucked up. They started using that as hype for the game. But I don't think it was them who started pointing that out. I don't think it was the devs. Anyway, if it was, that was their biggest mistake. If it was somebody else, then they had no control over that, unfortunately. But the marketing department didn't help by not tempering expectations enough. That I'll grant you that. That's for sure. That and their early access thing, they didn't clarify enough. That was their problem. They're absolutely atrocious at communication, that dev team. Why? I don't know. They're probably a bunch of introverts who just like to make games. So, very much a Hello Games situation on that one. if they had been far more clear with early access, like, hey, we financially speaking, we're almost in ruin. We need to release something now. So we put together this here that kind of puts some of the outline, like some of the framework of the game in place, ready now, and some gameplay that you can, you know, it's turkey extraction stuff. It's gonna be whatever. You know, it'll eventually just become a side mode while we get the rest of the main game up and running. Or kind of flesh this out so it's more meaningful. Because the game was already kind of extraction-oriented, wasn't it? Because I feel like I remember some of their early stuff being like, hey, you're going to be in this world, there's going to be some zombies around, you really got to watch out for other people, though. They're the real threat, the other players. Like, some of their earliest advertising material even stated all that, because I remember people accusing it of being a slice of the game. A highly polished slice. But they were advertising that this was going to be a PvP thing. Like, your biggest threats aren't the zombies, it's the other people. So, you know, although, admittedly, they probably could have used a few additional zombies. They were fairly sparse. So they always kind of had it like it was going to be this Dark Zone thing. And what did Dark Zones have? Extraction. So anyone who was going into it not expecting some level of Tarkov was an idiot and wasn't paying attention to the promotional material. But they could have clarified that, hey, we've run out of money. If we don't release this now into early access, we're fucked. Here's what it is now. Here's what we're planning on doing. Here's what we're working on actively right now. Here's a roadmap. This is all of what's coming. You know, some of this stuff will be ready soon. Some of it will be ready later. We're planning on... If they had just been more communicative, more transparent, if they had actually just opened their fucking mouths, they probably would have been able to weather the storm. But instead, they said basically nothing of substance and just slapped an early access label on the game without explaining it or anything. I think that ultimately is what killed the game. That and the fact that it was a meme and everyone wanted to buy it and refund it and downvote the shit out of it. So it was probably fucked anyway. It was probably not going to make a good recovery. Just because there was too much ill will towards it. Just because of how popular it had become. Or the idea of it had become. The second it was touted as the most wishlist game on Steam, it was doomed. Because the anti-mainstream crowd was gonna hammer it one way or another. You know, the people who hate Fortnite because it's popular, or the people who hate World of Warcraft because it's the biggest MMO. Whether or not there's any good reason to hate it or not, doesn't matter. They hate it because it's the big thing, so it needs to be hated. The internet has a lot of hipsters. And they like to be vindictive, I have noticed over the decades I have been on the internet. It is a clean trend you can watch throughout history. That's the difference between the day before in Cyberpunk. The marketing department was building the game up as the revolutionary next step in the survival horror genre. They put out a bunch of material using pre-rendered footage and assets, as well as overblowing the scope of where the game was. Did they actually call it the revolutionary next step in survival horror genre? I hadn't seen that marketing material. That was dumb of them. I'll give you that. That was stupid. A totally open-world zombie MMO. It's basically sold as The Division meets DayZ and The Last of Us. Okay, I don't know about any early marketing material. I just started coming in when they put the videos out, and the video I saw, the first one I saw, was the one where they showed it ended up being the slice. That's the one where they showed the people roving around town. They ended up in a shop, and then another player walks into the shop, and they're like, but your real threat is the other player, you know? At that point, it very much came across as an extraction game, like Dark Zone gameplay. Division 2 Dark Zone gameplay. Like, where you're in there, you're dealing with the environment and stuff, but you always gotta be careful of other players. Maybe they'll try something, maybe they won't. You know? And I mean, I guess, isn't that basically what DayZ is? It's basically just I guess, does DayZ have survival building in it? Can you build bases in DayZ? I haven't actually played. I've watched people play, but I don't recall anyone building bases. But either way, what came out is about what I was expecting to come out, honestly. Just not in a finished state from the material. The MMO advertisement was odd, though. I'll give you that. I don't know why they... Never mind. Everyone calls everything an MMO if it's multiplayer now. There's a huge debate on the internet, from old school MMO players who were here when the MMOs were a very specific thing, to people who now think Genshin is an MMO. MMO doesn't mean MMO anymore. MMO is just a blanket statement for anything multiplayer. If it's multiplayer, it's an MMO. So I'm not going to fault them for advertising that, because pretty much everyone else on the planet does the same thing now. That is not a them problem, that is an industry problem. There's a massive, hungry MMO crowd out there that just wants a good, nice place to settle down for a couple of years, so everyone's trying to capitalize on it. I believe even First Descendant classifies themselves as an MMO. I believe Warframe does as well, or at least did for a while. I don't know if they still do. I have not paid attention to Warframe in years. But Warframe used to call themselves an MMO too. For a time. Like, pretty much anyone where if you can get online with more than, like, 2 other people, they basically classify themselves as an MMO. If there's a hub where you can see other people, they call themselves an MMO. You know who else called themselves an MMO? Destiny 2. And Destiny 1. So, MMO basically means nothing anymore. Oh, Diablo 4 calls itself an MMO too. I don't know if Path of Exile does, or ever did. I don't remember. But anyway, MMO doesn't mean shit. It's a dead term. It doesn't matter how anyone uses it, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. Todd is a figurehead. The real turd in the Bethesda punch bowl is Emil Pagliaro. That man is a hack and should not have a job anywhere near a writing table. Well, I mean, to be fair, Todd Howard is basically a grifter. He's basically a con man. He's a con man that landed a legitimate job. I would not take any fault from him. He deserves any fault anyone gives him because he is exactly what they say he is. The man's a con artist. He actively, knowingly, happily, with a smile on his face, spews bullshit knowing exactly what's going to happen. He is certainly not like a rube or a pawn who's unwittingly doing the bidding of the Shadow Master behind. No, he knows exactly what he's doing. And he takes pride in it. Your first exposure to the day before was a video where 3 players were in a Humvee. The Humvee got stuck in some deep mud, and the 3 players abandoned the vehicle, heading to a gas station to find another vehicle. Or the zombies came across a gas station, and the players had to hole up. Yeah, I didn't see that one. The first one I saw was the one where it was nighttime, they were in the middle of the city, exploring the city, looking for loot. They go into, like, a convenience store, corner store, whatever you want to call them. They're pilfering stuff, and then they all hide because they hear something, and then another player comes in, equipped to the gear in, like, military shit. And like, oh no, they could be a threat. Oh no, it's the players you really gotta be worried about. They could be coming for your stuff. The zombies are, yeah, they're a threat, but they're not the real threat. That's the video I saw, or I remember seeing first. But like I said, I didn't start following the day before until after it became a big deal. And people started already criticizing and dissecting it. So I was definitely not early in on that train. And to be fair, I was not interested in the game anyway. I'm fucking tired of zombie games in the first place. I'm sick and tired of them. Almost as much as card games. So I had no interest in the game anyway. It could have come out exactly as advertised, and I still probably would not have had any interest in it. So I legitimately have no horse in this race, because I did not care if it succeeded or failed. The only thing I hated about it was how it was handled by the gaming community. because it was just not healthy for anyone. Wasn't healthy for developers, wasn't healthy for the player base, wasn't healthy for people in general. It was just a very unhealthy circus around that game. Just from a pure mentality and hypocrisy standpoint. Just pure seething vitriolic malice from a player base towards a dev for effectively no good reason, only because the game got too popular for their liking. It was kind of gross to watch, especially when it got to the point where people were actually making things up to try and smear both either the game or the developers, which they didn't even need to do. You didn't even need to make anything up, but people like to go the extra mile in being shitbags. So, of course, they had to make a bunch of stuff up. I didn't have the game wishlisted. I didn't care about the game. Beyond all the stupidity of the gaming community around it, I had no care whatsoever for that game. Warframe isn't declared as an MMO. They say story-driven, free-to-play online action game. Okay, so they don't declare... I'm pretty sure at one point in time they did classify it as... or like MMO Lite or something. Was it around the time they released their first open zone? Because at that point there was kind of a hub and you could see other players. It might have been around there. Or maybe even earlier. I'm pretty sure I remember them advertising as at least MMO Lite. Which is another tagline games like to use. That one's kind of faded off because... So early on when games were multiplayer and you could, like, there were like hubs and whatnot and you could see other players in those hubs or whatever. A common term at that point was MMO Lite. I believe the Torchlight series used MMO Lite. They might have been the first ones to try and use the descriptor. But MMO Lite became a popular term for a while for basically anything multiplayer that wasn't just lobby-based, like StarCraft or whatever. And then they just decided to drop the Lite part, and now Genshin is an MMO, apparently. Instead of an MMO Lite, or, you know, whatever. Or Tower of Fantasy, or whatever. Games where you see people around in the hub, but otherwise pretty much play the game by yourself. Maybe you invite a couple people, a couple of your pals into a party for something, but that's about it. You still weep for Spore, don't we all? Don't we all? I actually never really played Spore. I think I bought the game, but the DRM, I got screwed by EA's really bad DRM at that time. The DRM was baked directly into the game disc or something. You could only install it a couple of times. I think it was 2 times. You could install the game twice, even though you had the CD. After 2 installs, the CD would no longer install the game. There was something like that anyway, and there were some issues, and I never really got to play the game. I think I only ended up getting a couple of hours in. Because I ended up hitting a bug where I had to reinstall the game because the files got corrupted. Twice. Then I couldn't keep playing. So, you know, they didn't do that DRM for long because they realized exactly how fucking atrocious it was. And the backlash was huge. I think Spore was where they started that. Or the sequel to Spore. Spore 2 or whatever. That didn't last long. And then everything went digital not long after anyway, so it didn't matter. Who made this rant happen? Tell me who. Nobody. I went into this one on my own, basically. I started this. I did this. This was me. I started talking about vestige seeds, and the rant just spiraled in any number of directions. Okay, let me see if Death Must Die is installed quick. Hold on. It is installed. Huge. Alright, we'll get switched over to that. Okay, Joe, here is your cookie for making Joe rant. Thanks, buddy. I hope it's a good one. Like 11 tangents now. It all started with a seed. Yeah. So, chat, just... People always wonder when they're watching a streamer, is this how the streamer really is, or are they just putting on a show for the stream, you know? It's a reasonable question to ask. I sometimes ask it myself when I'm watching certain people. I just want you to know, this is what my friends go through every fucking night when we hang out. This is not an act. I'm not playing up for the camera. This is me. This is why my friends hate me. This is what everyone around me has to put up with all the time. This is me, baby. This is me. I'm too fucking lazy to put on a persona. What you see is what you get. Doesn't everything start with a seed? Good point. Good point. This is basically Sari's fault because Joe agreed with... It's true. I did agree with Serapha. And that apparently caused mass chaos. Probably why you have no friends on your own. I've got friends, but they've learned to tune me out, basically, when I start ranting. One of them will rant back with me. I've got one beacon of hope. The cookies are... We'll split the cookie. You can have half, I'll have half. I think we both earned it. Alright. Let me exit this game quick. Hang on, hang on. We're going over here. Let me get the other one launched, get the information switched over. Oh, this is gonna be a little awkward on the YouTube side, because I don't really want to restart. Okay. Alright. I gotta restart the YouTube stream so we have a clean cut in the VODs. I have no idea what that's like from a viewer's perspective, because I think you have to go find the new video, which is stupid, because YouTube doesn't know how to set up a proper live streaming environment. Why couldn't this game have just lasted like another hour and a half? I could have accepted a 3-hour stream and just called it. It would have been fine. But no, the game had to be exactly an hour and 20 minutes and not enough time for anything else. Achievement unlocked, reach 1,000 rant hours. You recommend crumble cookies. They're delicious and their flavors this week are a home run. Ooh, crumble cookies. Sounds good. Okay. YouTubers, for anyone out there, mostly you, I think, Sleepy. I am gonna shut this one down, and another one will be popping up if you're interested in watching Death Must Die. Is it update? It's updating right now. Okay, that's fine. It's updated. Small update. Twitch, I'll just get things swapped over. You're not going anywhere. I won't let you. You're trapped here with me.